and this is the point where I would have to make the stable again. This is again staying true to the scout build order. Getting the farm upgrade and the wood upgrade as always. All the new villagers stay under the town center. Trying to spam the farm upgrade. Coming back with the scout. And I'm gonna be making a house. And the wall. So how do you switch to skirmisher is like the thing we're going to be tackling here. Again, going to stick with like the 3 scout formula. Whenever you want to move out to your opponent and kill villages, you can do it with 2, but it's just easier with 3. So whenever you want to kill your opponent's villages, you have to have at least 3 scouts. And the number of farms before you think about adding an archery range is 4. If you have 4 farms, you have enough food to continuously kind of make the scouts and the villages at the same time, while not like getting your. Do I do individual coaching? Yes, I do. Check out my Discord if you're interested. So 4 farms, and that's pretty much it. I have 4 scouts, and all the new villagers will go to stragglers. I won't. You can like, yeah, the commands are kind of messed up because I changed my nickname. I'll have that figured out a little bit later. You can just scroll down and look at where like my Discord is and send me a DM if you're interested. Yeah, like most of the commands are messed up right now. So 4 farms, and you will stop like making farms for the time being, and you will send a villager and make an archery range. All the new villagers stay on the straggler. Don't get housed like me. And once you have your archery range up, you'll add like 4 more farms, so that you have a total of 8. If you do it fast enough, you will not take any damage to any archers or man-at-arms, and if you time your fights correctly. And now I'll mix in skirmishes with my scouts. So this is the timing that you would need, and once you have 8 farms, you don't need to add more farms just yet. You're gonna be waiting for that wood for the blacksmith instead of making more farms. And now I have the blacksmith as well. I have 6 scouts, that's like the bare minimum that you need. Anything more than 6 scouts, you're kinda inviting yourself for more pressure. And once you make the blacksmith, you can continue making farms again. All the new villages here in stragglers while you make like skirmishes. Get fletching. Fletching is pretty important for skirmishes if you want to chase down the archers, and it like helps you with like a lot of skirm fights and something. And the number of farms, you initially went for 14. This time you need 16 instead of your typical 14 farms. Using the army to protect my villages, like you don't have to move out, you can just keep the army to protect your walling villages. Get armor if you need it, but I would advise like you to not get it in feudal age early on if you're able to deal with the initial units. So 16 farms is what we are looking at, and all the new villages after that, once they're done with the stragglers, will go to gold. So 10 on wood still, 16 on food, 4 on like the berries. These will go to gold as well. And you'll have 8 on gold by the time your berries are finished, because these villages will go to gold as well. And you keep making skirmishes by like It depends on how many skirmishes you need. You can keep making them, or you can cut off the production even faster than normal. And once you have 8 on gold, you don't need any more on gold. You can keep making farms again. Till you have your 20 farms again. So this army combination helps you a lot versus like archer openings or maritime openings. Once you have your 20 farms, you will send all the new villages to wood so that you have 6 on wood each. And after like you have 6 on wood on each wood line, you will have enough food to click up to the next stage. I'm just gonna wait for it a little bit, and I'm up to castle age again. So I have 10 skirmishes, 6 scouts, 8 on gold, 20 on food, 12 on wood instead of your typical 10 on wood. I'm going to replace my lumber camps, and this is like the amount of food that and wood that you need to mix in skirmishes. Remember the timings of the feudal age farms, because that is like the important thing. So next question is, do I want to upgrade my skirmishes or do I want to play cavalry? If you want to play cavalry, it's the same thing that I taught in the first part of that build. I have to actually update this as well. Scouts into skirmishes. So we are talking about scouts into skirms. So we want, like, I'm going to show the variation where we are going to play skirmishes instead of going for knights. You can still play like one stable, like constant production of knights so that you can add like a little buffer in front of your skirmishes. But if you're against a pure archer civilization, you want to make like more skirmishes while you're going up to the next stage and upgrade them once you're up to the next stage. Our uptime will be delayed by a minute since we went for the skirmisher transition. But if you were not going for the skirmisher transition, you would be up around this time. We added 2 more villages than normal to our build, and since like we're against spear and archers and skirmishes, this is like the perfect army composition that you would need. Do we add the second range? You don't need to. Skirmishes are produced really quickly. You can add the second range if you're planning to switch to crossbow. Again, we're gonna get like the Bodkin arrow and the elite skirmisher upgrade. And the armor upgrade if you're versus like a really strong civilization, which like rely pretty heavily on making like a lot of crossbows. And the next thing that I would caution you up against is adding like more villages on like getting your wood upgrade and wheelbarrow before making your third town center. You want the third town center before you get like those upgrades. Yeah, that's my third town center as well. And now I have like the food and the gold bank to make knights and transitions and do whatever I want with it. I'm gonna use that food to boom instead. And while I'm making skirmishes, this is where like if I have the food and the gold bank, I can go back and switch to knights for the knight play. So this is like where the build ends for the skirmishing transition. You can do and play exactly the same as like the knight build order, but with skirmishes where you add the second range and add like 8 on gold and play double range crossbow from this point on once you have your 3 TC after opening skirmishes, or you can get like your bloodline and your armor for cavalry and start making cavalry. This depends entirely on what is happening in the game, and